Hello, guys. We want to have a brief discussion in this market. This is just a structure we identified in a 4-hour time frame on this market, and we just want to go through it quickly. Now, this market, if we measure from this point here, if we measure from this point to this point, exactly we can see that we have a 42 days and then 4 hours time frame from the bottom here to the top was exactly 42 days and 4 hours. Now, if we measure also the price advance from that same low to the top, if we measure the price advance to the top here, okay, going to be exact. Let's say we measure something like this. We have also a 42, and then let's measure it exact. Okay, so when we measure the price axis also, sorry, the price advance, we have a 42.08 point advance in 42 days. So the time frame is 42 days and 4 hours. The price axis, the price component is also 42.08 point. So the point from, or the advance from this low here to this high is exactly one by one, a one by one move, or is exactly a squared out move, which is 1 point for 1 day. So we have just drawn a square structure around this move from this low to this high, which is a 42 points by 42 days advance. Now, if we draw a line around, or if you draw a square around that structure, and then we draw the diagonal, which is the pink line. If we draw the diagonal for that one by one structure, then we can see that this one by one is a resistance or a support at this point until the square was complete. Until the square was complete. Now, what we just did here is that we doubled the square again. That is, we made it 1 by 2 square. That is, we drew another square, a static square, which is also a 42 by 42 square. And then we have drawn the diagonal for that second square. That is this line, this side of the line. So let me just change it color and make it a different color. So this is the green line. That is the diagonal for the second square that we have projected. This square, we have just projected it. First, as we say, we had a 1 by 1 square, which is 42 by 42. And we have projected a second square, which is also 42 by 42, 42 by 42 squared. Sorry. And then we have drawn the diagonal of that square also. Then with that diagonal, we can see currently that that is where we have had these two bounces. So the diagonal of that second square is what is resisting price now. That is the current resistance for the price action. That means when the first square completed, now the action has turned down, and now the opposite angle or the opposite diagonal is that which is acting as the current resistance now. So if price should break above this resistance line, then we can have again, let's say, the point going back to the top of this band. But so long as this resistance remains stronger, then price will keep declining and bouncing off it until it moves above it. Now, this second blue line, this blue line we have here, the first square that we have, what symmetry analyst will say the inverse of that square, which is a 1.707 structure. We just drew the 1.707 structure of that square. That is, we added the inverse of the square to the square itself. and then we have this whole structure here. Now that diagonal for that structure is the blue line we have here. And we can see that currently also the blue line is a stronger support. That is, the diagonal of the inverse structure is also a stronger support, which is which has contained the price action between the diagonal of the square until the square was completed. So price had been contained here until it is completed. Now, currently, this is where we have price now. So we expect that if this blue line, which is the diagonal of the inverse square, should break, then this level here where this diagonal cuts the side of the square, which is 80.386 zone, we expect that if that line should break, then the next strong resistance sorry, the next stronger support will be this point 80.386 price level. So we expect that currently, as the price is holding between these two diagonals, if it breaks, if this lower diagonal breaks, then we can expect that this dynamic support here, this dynamic support here, which is where this diagonal cuts the side of the square, will be the next stronger support to hold price. Below it, there are other diagonals which we have not drawn, but below it we can bring on board some other diagonals and then try to see how they will support price. But currently, this is what we just want to put across. Price has completed the first square. We have projected the second square, and the diagonal of that second square is acting currently here as the resistance in the price action. And then the inverse of that square, the diagonal of that inverse is also acting as the current stronger support now. So we expect price narrowing into this corner. We want to see which one breaks first. Either the diagonal of the second projected square will break and price will trend up, or the diagonal of the inverse structure will break and price will trend down. So guys, this is just what we are putting across. Just monitor it. If you want to draw the square, just look at where we have put the lines. You can draw it and then just follow the diagonals like that. So that is just, by the way, that is just the trend we want to put across. Have a nice time, stay safe, and good luck.